Welcome back to What Is, the show where we take the world's most complicated topics and strip them down until they actually make sense. Today, we are looking at you. No, not your face or your questionable choice of footwear. We're looking deep inside. We are talking about the cell. Now, if you've ever sat through a high school biology class, you probably remember three things: the smell of formaldehyde, a Punnett square, and the phrase, "the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell." But cells are so much more than just a meme. They are the fundamental units of life. Everything you see that breathes, grows, or eats, from the mold on your week-old bread to the blue whale in the Pacific, is built out of these microscopic biological Legos. But what actually is a cell? And how does something so small do something as big as life? Let's travel back to 1665. A scientist named Robert Hooke was looking at a thin slice of cork under one of the world's first primitive microscopes. He saw a bunch of tiny, rectangular rooms. They reminded him of the small rooms monks lived in, which were called cells. So he named them cells, and the name stuck. It's a bit weird if you think about it. If Hooke had been a fan of modern architecture, your body might currently be made of microscopic open-concept lofts. But Hooke was only seeing the walls of dead plant cells. It took another few hundred years for us to realize that the stuff inside those walls is where the real party is happening. To understand a cell, you have to stop thinking of it as a thing and start thinking of it as a city, a tiny, bustling, hyper-efficient metropolis. First, every city needs a border. That's the cell membrane. It's not just a bag, it's a sophisticated security system. It decides who gets in, like nutrients and water, and who gets kicked out, like waste and those annoying biological solicitors. If you're a plant, you also get a cell wall, which is basically a rigid fortress around the city because plants can't run away from predators, so they just decide to be difficult to chew. Now let's go to the town hall, the nucleus. This is the brain of the operation. Inside the nucleus is your DNA. Think of DNA as a massive library of blueprints. It contains the instructions for making, well, you. It tells the cell how to grow, when to divide, and whether or not you're going to have a widow's peak. If the nucleus loses its mind, the whole city falls into chaos. Next up, the part you've all been waiting for, the mitochondria. Yes, it is the powerhouse of the cell. If the cell is a city, the mitochondria is the nuclear power plant. It takes the food you eat and turns it into a chemical called ATP. ATP is the currency of the cell. Without it, the lights go out, the machines stop, and you stop being alive. So give your mitochondria some respect. They're working overtime to keep your heart beating while you're sitting on the couch watching this. But a city needs factories to build things. Those are the ribosomes. These little guys take instructions from the DNA and churn out proteins. Proteins do everything. They build your muscles, they act as enzymes to digest your lunch, they send signals through your brain. If DNA is the architect, ribosomes are the construction workers actually laying the bricks. Of course, all that construction creates a lot of trash. That's where the lysosomes come in. These are the cellular waste management crews. They contain digestive enzymes that break down worn-out cell parts or invading bacteria. They basically eat the garbage so it doesn't pile up in the streets. And finally, we have the endoplasmic reticulum and the Golgi apparatus. These are the postal service and the shipping warehouse. They package up the proteins made by the ribosomes, slap a shipping label on them, and send them to wherever they're needed, either inside the cell or out into the rest of the body. It's an incredible system. And here's the kicker. Your body has about 37 trillion of these cities working simultaneously. Now, not all cells are the same. There are two main neighborhoods in the cellular world. You have prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are the OGs. These are bacteria and archaea. They're simple. They don't have a nucleus. Their DNA just kind of floats around like a loose pile of papers in a messy office. They were the only life on Earth for about 2 billion years. They're the survivalists of the world. Eukaryotes, that's us, animals, plants, and fungi, are the luxury version. We have the nucleus, the fancy organelles, and the complex internal structures. We're essentially a collection of specialized cells working together. Your skin cells are different from your brain cells, which are different from your blood cells. They all have the same DNA manual, but they've each bookmarked a different page to do their specific job. So why does any of this matter? Because when you understand the cell, you understand health. When you get sick, it's usually because something has hijacked your cellular cities. A virus is basically a high-tech pirate that sneaks into your cell, takes over the town hall, and forces the ribosome factories to make more pirates instead of helpful proteins. Cancer is what happens when a cell's DNA gets corrupted and it starts building unauthorized suburbs that it refuses to stop expanding. Modern medicine is essentially just us learning how to talk to our cells, giving them the right instructions or tools to fix the machinery when it breaks down. Behind every breath you take, every thought you have, and every taco you digest, trillions of microscopic workers are busy keeping the lights on. You aren't just one person, you are a massive, coordinated civilization of 37 trillion individuals, all working toward the same goal, keeping you, you. It's honestly a miracle we're not just a puddle of goo on the floor. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the microscopic world, make sure to hit that like button. It helps our own algorithmic cells grow and reach more people. What topic should we tackle next? Is there something you've always wondered about but were too afraid to ask? Drop a comment below and let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to What Is for your weekly dose of, oh, so that's how that works. And if you want to support the channel, check out our links in the description. I'm your narrator, and thanks for watching. Now go out there and do something nice for your mitochondria. They're working hard for you. See you in the next one.